When you see around the globe the maldistribution of wealth, the desperate plight of millions of people in underdeveloped countries, when you see so few haves and so many have-nots, when you see the greed and the concentration of power within, did you ever have a moment of doubt about capitalism and whether greed's a good idea to run on?
Well, first of all, tell me, is there some society you know that doesn't run on greed? You think Russia doesn't run on greed? You think China doesn't run on greed? What is greed? Of course, none of us are greedy. It's only the other fellow who's greedy. The world runs on individuals pursuing their separate interests. The great achievements of civilization have not come from government bureaus. Einstein didn't construct his theory under order from a bureaucrat. Henry Ford didn't revolutionize the automobile industry that way. In the only cases in which the masses have escaped from the kind of grinding poverty you're talking about, the only cases in recorded history are where they have had capitalism and largely free trade. If you want to know where the masses are worst off, it's exactly in the kinds of societies that depart from that. So that the record of history is absolutely crystal clear, that there is no alternative way so far discovered of improving the lot of the ordinary people that can hold a candle to the productive activities that are unleashed by a free enterprise system.
But it seems to reward not virtue as much as ability to manipulate the system.
And what does reward virtue? You think the communist commissar rewards virtue? You think a Hitler rewards virtue? You think, excuse me, if you'll pardon me, do you think American presidents reward virtue? Do they choose their appointees on the basis of the virtue of the people appointed or on the basis of their political clout? Is it really true that political self-interest is nobler somehow than economic self-interest? You know, I think you're taking a lot of things for granted. And just tell me where in the world you find these angels who are going to organize society for us. Well, I don't even trust you to do that.
One of the greats. That Phil Donahue segment. It's about 45 minutes. It's fascinating. It's a very good introduction to Friedman, his ideas, and he is one of the men that has shaped at least my mind over, maybe about the past decade or so. But it's an amazing conversation, and it's one that needs to be had, and it's one that people need to understand, right? It's not that capitalism is perfect. The capitalism, especially that we have in this country right now, is grinding towards corporate crony capitalism, and that's a product of the expansion of government, right? When you are a farmer or if you produce something on a very basic level, you produce something, somebody else wants it. The only way you're going to give up that thing that you've produced is if you're getting something in return that you value more than what you currently have. And the only way the other person who is giving up something to get the thing that you produce it's going to be the same thing. The price that you're selling your item for has to be worth what that person is, both sides have to agree. Both sides have to agree, and everybody gains in that situation. At the end, you gained what you wanted, they gained what they wanted, and everybody wins. When government gets involved, notches are cut out, special categories. He brings up one of the, if you, whether it's a trucking license where only you can cart a certain thing from here to there, or a TV license, a broadcast license, all of these licenses and things of that nature, how do they come about? Let's be honest, people are bought and paid for in this scenario. And so you're notching out a section to eliminate essentially competition. And that is not capitalism. Free market capitalism. When you have socialism and these other isms, what do you have? You have top-down control. You have government control, and The idea is give everyone a level playing field, put everyone on the same level. Everyone gets a baseline. Everyone except for the people that are running the institution, right? There is no equality. People that's not anything that can exist, right? There can be, if everybody is at the same level, how can that be? Somebody has to be organizing the system, right? They're not going to be at that level. That's never going to happen. You're never going to see a socialist or communist leader living in the huts with the regular people. That's not going to happen because we're human, right? Capitalism is the only system, like he's put it, so far developed that allows for human beings and their own self-interest to flourish with others because they're getting something and the other person's getting something and everybody is happy. If I raise cattle and my neighbor grows corn, here's some meat, here's some corn, great. That is essentially what it is. And that works. When the government comes down and says, you have to raise this cattle, you have to grow that corn, okay, I'll do that. And now what? How is this? No, we're gonna just distribute it. All right, so I'm left a little bit of cattle, a little bit of corn, and I guess that can work. But over time, who's gonna get the best cut of meat, right? Who's gonna get the best pieces of corn? Who's gonna get the better tobacco or this and that, right? That's why when you go back to the Greenback era, and he talks about this at length, essentially what ended up happening is before there was paper money in the U.S., people would trade, people would use like these big things of tobacco, and that would be their money that they would use in order to gain products or services or whatever it is they needed. So what would they do? They would take the best tobacco and they would keep it for themselves. And they would use their poorer grade tobacco and use that as a form of payment. You cannot get away from people preserving and people doing things in their own self-interest. It doesn't matter the society you structure or the government that you have. People will preserve their and try to do what's best for them and their family and their own. That's nature. And pure free market capitalism so far is the best way to organize a society where everyone gets the best chance of, being able to have a prosperous life. And that's just the way it is. I wish more people would be interested in this and understand why their society has been thriving and why people from all over the world, why do they want to come here? Why do people, as he puts it all the time, Milton puts it, why do they vote with their feet in the way that they do? They don't want to stay in these other countries. They want to come here. Why? Why do they want to come here? They want to come here because this is where you can make the money. And why is it where you can make the money? Because of the way we operate our government, because of the way we operate our markets. Our markets operate where you come here, you could do something, you could build something, you could sell something, you can make it. You can. Otherwise, they would stay where they are, right? That's why they're coming here. They have to do it the right way because otherwise, we get overwhelmed at whatever that amount is, whether it's $1 million a year or whatever. We probably need to take a pause right now and just to figure out what the hell's going on. But yeah, it's something that everyone should know. Check it out. Phil Donahue, Milton Friedman. It's about, like I said, about 45 minutes. If you guys can leave me if you guys can subscribe to the channel, that really helps me out a lot. I really would appreciate it. If you guys want to have the discussion about this in the comments, I try to answer everybody. I try to keep it as light as I can. But yeah, we can have a lot of fun in the comments. Guys, thanks a lot for coming out. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again on the next video. Thanks a lot.